Hi, my name is Bryce Guinness, and I'm a sophomore at Orange High School, and I'll be reading a piece I wrote about Senate Bill 49 and Senate Bill 74, which I have titled The Consequences of Senate Bill 49 for Transgender Youth in the Future of America. My name is Bryce Guinness, and I'm transgender. Identifying as transgender, however, is the least important thing about me. I'm a sophomore at Orange High School. I participate in theater, I take all honors classes, and I tutor at one of our local elementary schools on Thursday mornings. Outside of school, I like to draw, skateboard, and hang out with my friends like any other student. I love living in North Carolina. I love the beaches and mountains, our rich history, and all the people I love and care about are here. Living here as a transgender person, especially as a young transgender person, can be disheartening and scary. I worry that I will wake up and be faced with new legislation that will take away my rights, and Senate Bill 49 isn't proving me wrong. No one, especially a child, should fear that they will have their access to healthcare or right to safety threatened. The danger this bill presents. Quote, prior to any changes in the name or pronoun used for a student in school records or by school personnel, notice to the parent of the change, end quote. This bill, entitled the Parents' Bill of Rights, would make all learning materials visible to parents, allow parents to review what library books their children check out, and includes various other ways for parents to be more informed and involved with their children's education. But this bill is a Trojan horse. It limits LGBTQ curriculum in K-4 classrooms and forces teachers to notify parents if their child has a change in name or pronouns. While this bill has some positives for North Carolina education, this bill will put thousands of LGBTQ youth in danger emotionally, mentally, and physically. School is one of the only places where transgender and non-binary youth have trusted adults they can turn to like their counselors, teachers, and other educators. This bill will force teachers to break the carefully cultivated trust established between them and their students by outing them to their parents before they are ready, which can be extremely dangerous. It would prevent open and honest conversations about a student's mental health between them and their support systems at school. It is already known that teachers and educators are underpaid, overworked, and unsupported, and this bill would be an unnecessary addition to their plate. This legislature looks past everything that makes me who I am and only looks at my gender identity. Ironically, though, this legislature makes me feel unseen, unsupported, and scared. Scared not just for myself and my future as a transgender person, but for other trans and non-binary students who are not accepted at home and we would be put in immediate danger because of this bill. School is a safe space for thousands of kids all over the state, transgender and cisgender. Cisgender meaning you identify with your gender assigned at birth. For many trans and non-binary youth, school is unfortunately the only place where they can freely express themselves through pronouns, gender expression, and names that align with their gender identity. According to the Trevor Project's 2022 National Survey on LGBTQ mental health, fewer than 1 in 3 transgender and non-binary youth found their home to be gender affirming. If a transgender child discussed their name and pronouns with a teacher, and that teacher then told their parents without their consent, that child risks going back to an unsafe, unwelcoming, and maybe even abusive home. Nearly 1 in 5 transgender youth have attempted suicide, and in part, bills like this one are to blame. According to Dr. Jonah DeChant, a research scientist for the Trevor Project, recent political attacks aimed at transgender and non-binary youth have not only threatened their access to healthcare, support systems, and affirming spaces at school, they've also negatively impacted their mental health. When we threaten the livelihoods of transgender youth, we threaten the lives of the future of America, the future doctors, teachers, presidents, and parents. Transgender youth are an exponentially higher risk for suicide, discrimination, and being unaccepted, especially among transgender youth of color. Transgender youth are in danger not only in North Carolina, but all over the country, and we must do what we can to protect the transgender youth in our communities and schools. An alternative, Senate Bill 74. I do not aim to limit how parents are involved with their children's education. I believe that parents being involved with their children's education is very important, and I believe that other aspects of this bill will be very valuable to North Carolina's educational system. That's why Senate Bill 74 should be passed. This bill is an alternative to Senate Bill 49 that would reinforce the communication between students, parents, and their teachers and the parents' rights within their child's school. It would allow parents to view their children's education materials, data, and statistics about their education and ensure representation at school board meetings, a learning environment free of discrimination, and a right to feel safe at school, all without potentially outing transgender youth to their parents. North Carolina education and the safety of North Carolinian transgender and non-binary youth is at stake. All students deserve to feel safe and respected at school, and the consequences of these bills will affect not just the present day North Carolina, but the future of the world.